heard what I had to say in the big story about the SEC stuff. We're going to get into some of that for our YouTube audience a little later on with this guy. But I wanted to bring in Nick Ferguson today, who I haven't talked to in a while. Have we even talked since we updated the set? We got a new set here. I don't even think we've talked since we updated the set.
No, we haven't.
It's been a minute. You like it?
Yeah,
You approve? All right. Just making sure you approve.
I like the Yankees hat. I don't see a Giants hat helmet in there anymore, so I'm good with that.
No, there it is. There it is. I just hide it. I just hide it.
You had to ruin it, right? You just had to ruin it.
I just hide it, but quite frankly, it's just taking up space until I can get rid of it because I'm done with the Giants. Totally done, especially with Jaxson Dart now. This whole Jaxson Dart thing. I'm just. Come
on, man! Don't do that.
I'm over it.
Don't do that.
I'm over it.
Don't do that, man.
You know why I'm over it? I'm not mad. You're dragging me into this. No, what makes me mad is that I don't have any problem. You support whoever you support, whatever. That's fine. But to not want to answer for it. That's where I have an issue with it. You can't expect that free speech isn't free of consequences for supporting something. All right, you want to support it, explain why you support it. That's all. I don't have a problem with him supporting it.
Even if he explained it to anyone, right, if you're in opposition to what he did and the person he is supporting, you're not going to hear the answer anyway.
Not true. Then some people might be that way. I'm not. Listen, you support who you support. I have family members that support Trump. I don't stop loving them. I just had a great family celebration back in Connecticut with my siblings who all support Trump. And I don't have a problem with that. We had a great get together. It was wonderful. We're talking about a family vacation. It was kumbaya. It was wonderful. But if you're going to support something, you should tell it. You should be open to telling us why if we ask. You're not immune from criticism for that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have to answer that question, even if the question is answered. He give a no answer. This is my choice. This is what I decide. Then that's it. I don't have to go into great length and detail to tell you why I made my choices. I mean, now that opens up to every person that you come across, every single choice that they made.
Not every single one.
I'll question that. It's like, no, you made that. That's the hill you want to die on. So what? Do you, man?
You want listen. You want to support one of the most divisive figures, rightly or wrongly, politically in our history, certainly in generations. I think there is a responsibility to explain that. That's all. And whatever that explanation may be.
I don't think anyone has to explain that or anything else, even though you're saying, okay, well, hey, he is supporting someone who's considered to be a polarizing figure. Who cares? There's so many people who make, bonehead decisions all the time. Not saying that Jaxson Dart made a bonehead decision.
Gotcha.
It's just the fact that this is something that he decided to do, man. So, hey, man, who am I to judge you?
All right.
No, so I'm not.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on Brian Flores because yes. I'm fascinated by this. How the NFL has let it get to this point where we are in a situation now where this thing's going to go to trial. There's going to be discovery. You've got 25 teams subpoenaed by Brian Flores and his legal team. I don't know how, if you're the NFL, you let it get to this point, that you didn't squash this thing somehow, whether it be with a settlement, whether it be with something. I'm just shocked we're at this point in this conversation.
Well, the reason it got to this point because the NFL is the big dog of all sports. And when it comes to any issue that's happened with the NFL, I mean, they've dealt with it perfectly, from their media contacts, being able to push stories, pull certain details back. And this is one of those things that they felt as though maybe Brian Flores will pull back on, because since he filed this suit when he was a member of the Miami Dolphins as their head coach, he's been a linebacker coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not a DC for the Minnesota Vikings. So maybe they were hoping that, hey, it's all water under the bridge. He's employed, but he's not letting this go because this issue is bigger than Brian Flores, and he understands it. Like Steve Wilkes, he's been screwed over the most as an NFL head coach, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's part of this lawsuit with Brian Flores, along with other individuals. So this is not about Brian Flores himself, the man, the coach. This is about other black coaches that he's figuring that he needs to stand up for. So he's not going to let this go.
Okay. Now that it's been ruled that this thing is going to go to trial, that, the Supreme Court's not going to step in, the NFL's got to figure out sort of, how to get their ducks in a row. Do the owners, because I had one of my editors at MS Now, we were talking yesterday about writing a column on this, and he said, well, why wouldn't the NFL just settle? Do the owners get Roger Goodell into a room and say, by any means necessary, you have to settle this? Or is it the opposite, where the owners say, 25 of us are named, 25 of our teams are put in this subpoena. We're not settling. Now we're going to the mattresses on this.
Well, I'm sure they probably told Roger Goodell, hey, listen, if you can settle this, try to settle it. And, no owner wants to be dragged through any type of litigation, because usually when there's an issue with a player and it's big news, who do we hear about dealing with it? It's Roger Goodell. We never hear about the owners themselves. This is why he gets paid $40 to $60 million a year to handle these situations, to make sure that he's the face and not the other 32 owners. But who's to say that they did not go to Brian Flores and his legal team and try to settle this, and they said, no, that's not what we want to do. We're not settling. We want this to go to court. And understanding, when you look at what the Supreme Court did, the idea of the NFL and Roger Goodell litigating this themselves and him being the arbitrator, to me, that wasn't a good sign. You can't work for the league, be the arbitrator on this particular issue, because to me, that's a conflict of interest. So now this thing is going to go to court. And with disclosure, there's going to be a lot of things that come to pass. And don't be shocked if the whole situation that happened with John Gruden years ago, when they were investigating the Washington Commanders, and then we got a whole bunch of emails about John Gruden and DeMaurice Smith, don't be surprised if that doesn't come up. If I'm Brian Flores, the other person who I might subpoena to come in and testify? Former NFLPA executive DeMaurice Smith.
I've been looking into Prolon, and what really stood out to me is that it's designed to give you the benefits of fasting without actually having to stop eating completely. It's a plant-based 5-day program with everything pre-packaged for you. Soups, snacks, drinks, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state so it can activate things like cellular repair and renewal. It's actually backed by years of research and developed alongside one of the leading longevity institutes, which makes me feel really comfortable in trying it. Prolon is offering FieldSwell listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just go to prolonlife.com/FieldSwell. Again, that's prolonlife.com/FieldSwell to get your discount and bonus gift today.
Who knows the inner workings and the negotiations better than him?
Yeah,
what I would do.
That's a very good point. To me, it's kind of fascinating to watch sort of the way this is all played out. And I think of the NASCAR trial that just took place, where Michael Jordan Racing, was going after NASCAR, this charter issue that was going on. And that thing started to go through discovery. And when some of the ugliness started to come out in emails, NASCAR was just like, they completely subjected themselves to whatever, and threw themselves at the mercy of Michael Jordan Racing, and just said, let's get this thing settled by any means. Do you think we will get to a point where we get that discovery that comes out, or do you think ultimately it gets settled?
I think for me, it has to get settled, because when you go through disclosure, a lot of that dirty laundry that no one knows of, it's going to come up. And just think about this, even though one seems like it doesn't have anything to do with the other, but the NFL doesn't want people to know where the dead bodies are buried, because the NFL benefits from antitrust laws, right?
Yep.
Dating back Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. Yep. And if you do anything to take that away from you, that's going to be a big issue, because now they get to, as a group, negotiate kind of media rights together. not separately as 32 independent companies, which they are. I don't think they want to lose that. So you don't want disclosure to get so bad. Now it starts to reveal some of these things that most fans really don't know.
Nick Ferguson does an amazing job. I forgot to mention Denver sports media personality, former Broncos safety, is hanging out with us on the show. That's going to do it for the TV portion of our conversation, but make sure to check out the YouTube channel and the podcast. We will have more with Nick coming up there in just a couple of moments, so make sure to hang around for that. Nick, always appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you.
On the SEC stuff. What is the SEC thing? I said in the big story today, and Sam agreed with me on this. If I'm the NCAA, I call their bluff. Go ahead. You want to do what the Ivy League did for all those years and just have your conference schedule and play within your conference, and you don't play in the playoffs? You want to go and do that? Knock yourself out, SEC. I mean, look. It's debatable. I think it's still the best conference. I know Sam and I disagreed on this, and he still thinks it's the Big Ten based on the last few years. I still think the SEC is the best conference. But if they think they are bigger than all of college football, that they could just walk away. If I'm the NCAA, I'd call their bluff.
Well, basically what they're doing is kind of beating their chests, right? They're saying that we know we're the big dogs. You just said it yourself. Right? You mentioned two of the conferences that are threatening to form a larger conference in the Big Ten and the SEC. So you said it yourself, right? The way they're thinking, we're bigger than everyone else. Mm-hmm. So why don't we just go out and join another big partner and do exactly what the NFL did and say, you know what? We're going to get together so we can control all the media rights. Because at the end of the day, everything is about money. How much money are you making? How much money are you losing? So the Big Ten partnering with the SEC, that's a large part of the pot. And when you look at how the College Bowl playoffs are kind of put together, you got the four-letter network, which boggles me. Yeah. They're in control of this with the 12-person committee and deciding which teams get in. And what have we seen over the past couple of years? We've seen a lot of SEC teams get in. Even so much so, Notre Dame is just like, you know what? If we are in the top 15 and we win games, we have to be in the college football playoffs. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this? But it's about people asserting their level of dominance over college football. And now the other conferences have to get together. They have to form a coalition that is stronger than the SEC to make sure that they don't do this, because if they do this, it's going to hurt college football.
Where's the middle ground that gets reached ultimately to avoid sort of this Armageddon for college football?
Well, here it goes back to, dealing with things on a more simplistic level, and that's dealing with the NIL. See, what has to happen with college football is they have to put their big boy pants on and admit they are where they are now. Even when I was playing in college, it was considered being an amateur sport, but let's call it what it is. It's still a professional sport. So they need a union to help kind of regulate a lot of this stuff, because a lot of issues they have to do with revenue sharing, NILs, media rights, you name it. So if there's a coalition that is formed, they can kind of get some of this done. But that's the pro. Here's the con. If you were to form or allow the players to form somewhat of a players association, the problem you run into when you have unions is union workers, when they don't get what they want and they don't think things are fair and balanced, you know what the next dirty word is? Strike. Right? Yeah. And they don't want that. So something has to be done. The way that they're doing things now, it is chaotic. And someone has to restore some order and some balance. But allowing the SEC to partner with the Big Ten and just form this monopoly, that's not going to be good.
Some would argue maybe the whole thing does need to be blown up in order for it to be fixed, though, Nick. Maybe we need Armageddon. Maybe this is just part of the pain that that the sport needs to inflict on itself in order to get to a better place eventually. Is there something to that?
Yeah, it is. And I would bring that right back to the NCAA, because a lot of this is their fault too, right? Because they didn't do anything in the early years because they were like, well, do as we say, not as we do. We're going to put all these regulations on all these college programs. And it's just like, we were going to get to this point at some point, right? And they were trying to prolong it, push it back, move the goalposts. Had they decided to address it almost 20 years ago, the structure would have been in place. You would have worked out all the chaotic stuff and everything would be as perfect as it could be. But there's no such thing as, ultimate perfection. But to me, they need to do something about this. And once again, it all goes back to money. You want to make sure that's equal distribution through all the programs. And you have to remember, you still got Title IX to worry about too as well.
Let me ask you while I have you, being in Denver, Von Miller wants to supposedly come back to the Broncos. Any way that happens?
Nah, son. Nope. Doesn't. I mean, listen, he's doing all the right things because now he's using social media. We've seen a lot of people use their social media platforms to push their brand.
Trevor Bauer.
Yes. So he's using it well to fire up Broncos country to get the fans to kind of push for it. Now, I don't know if fans will get to a point where they kind of start signing a petition to try to do it. But if I'm the owners of the Denver Broncos, I don't have to do that, right? I really don't have to do that. And think about where Von is at this stage of his career, right? And it's just like if you were to bring Von on as a third down specialist, how would that impact your roster moving forward? So you have to keep him on the roster. Meanwhile, you may move past 2-3 younger players that can help your team out in some way. And if I'm George Payton or even Sean Payton, I'm not even really thinking about this. The only time I would think about it if there were massive injuries to their edge rush room that you consider it. That doesn't necessarily mean you do it because there are other younger players that are out there, and that's what Von is competing against. And Von Miller will be a Hall of Famer, but they don't really have to bring Von Miller back for that. Now, here's what Von Miller can do, right? He can be a member of the Broncos organization, not from a playing standpoint. He can try to apply as a coach, a pass rush specialist. We've seen Jared Allen do it for a couple of teams as a consultant. That's another way that he can make an impact. But the idea of Von Miller coming back and joining a team, while it sounds like a great story because he was drafted by, John Elway, to me, from a playing standpoint, yeah, you only do that in case of emergency.
Yeah, I feel the same way about it. Nick Ferguson, you can catch him over on sports radio, news radio, I should say. He does a great sports talk show over there in Denver. Always enjoy talking to you, my friend. Let's do it again soon, huh? I mean, football's almost here, and I'm sure we'll be leaning on you plenty once football comes around. But let's do this again soon.
Hopefully, before you change your background again.
I don't think this is it. I have settled on this set. Let's see what happens. What happens first? Will there be a settlement in the NFL Brian Flores case, or will you be on the show next? What happens first?
No, it's going to trial, baby. Wow.
I think it's going to trial too. I hope it does. Thanks, Nick.
We want that dirty laundry.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. If what we got out of the Gruden stuff was that, imagine what would come out of this. But I'll also say this, not to belabor this conversation, but they got through the Gruden stuff. There was some ugly stuff in the Gruden stuff. I mean, if there is a league that is Teflon, if there is a league that is bulletproof, it is, it. It's this league. We are football obsessed in this country.
Yeah, but this is the arrogance as to why they thought it would go away because of what you just said, right? But I can tell you what, it goes to court. There's no guarantee those fans who are sitting in that jury will side with the NFL. You know why? That the prices that fans are paying now for streaming services and to go to games, they've gone up. So if you disclose some information that leaks to, well, hey man, there was conspiracy here, because we know conspiracy have arisen because when you think about Matthew Stafford contract, Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson, right? And it's like you're not supposed to conspire together to limit guarantee money for quarterbacks. Guess what? If that stuff comes out, hey man, you know what it's like? It would be like a nasty divorce. Who's going to keep the kids?
I just say, though, we always think there's a breaking point in these things. Maybe there isn't.
Well, the only thing is trying to convince Brian Flores not to go to trial.
That's their only hope. That's their only hope. But if he's taken it this far, I'm sure settlements offers have been made. I'm sure that he's not settling at this point.
Okay, but here's this thing, and I'll leave you with this.
Sure.
The idea is that anytime someone files a lawsuit, you think that, hey, everything's going to get filed and you're going to go to court right away. This thing happened, 2022? We're in 2026. So their idea is that, you know what? We're going to draw this out. Like so long, and it's going to be
motions and
that's right. So arduous for him, and it's going to cost a lot of money that he's going to drop it. But if he's invested in this from an emotional standpoint, to say not only me, Brian Flores, but other minority coaches have been duped by this same thing, he's going to stick to it. And if you as his attorney, you're saying, you know what, we're going to stick this out. Right, because we're gonna make sure that we're gonna get our money back. We're gonna spend a lot of time, man hours, but we're gonna get our money back in the end. So hopefully, if they continue this fight, it could look really ugly unless Flores decides to cave and settle.
Yeah, if he hasn't caved by now, I don't think he is. I think he's going. I think he's going the distance with it. Always appreciate you, Nick. Be well, my friend.
All right, man. Be good.